Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are looking at the Week 2 NFL Draftkings and Fanduel Thursday Night Football showdown picks, lineups between the Los Angeles Chargers and the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's go ahead and get started. This should be a very fun showdown. There's a lot of ways to go, especially with some injuries, most notably to Keenan Allen. And then the Chiefs are down a kicker, but that's not too much of a difference. But let's get started with it. As always, if you enjoy the videos, appreciate it for the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. You can check out the website link, dfsprocess.net, down below if you want to join. Twitter's there for more picks and to stay connected. And let me know if you have any questions in the comments. So before we even get started looking at, talking about the pricing and the players, let's take a look at snap counts, because this is very important for showdowns, especially when we have Keenan Allen who's not going to play. So we're really going to try to focus on who's going to take that number 2, number 3, number 4 role, wide receiver wise, for the Chargers. So in week number 1, Keenan Allen left the game after just 22 snaps, so he played 33%. That was filled by Mike Williams played his normal amount. He played 93. Joshua Palmer played 75% of the snaps. He had 4 targets, 3 receptions, only went for 5 yards, I believe. So he's a guy that does give you big play upside at times. We saw DeAndre Carter chip in and play 37, so it's not as much wide receiver snaps as you would have expected without Keenan Allen missing most of the game. Guyton only played 5 snaps. They actually went to a very heavy tight end set, so we saw Gerald Everett play well for them. He had a touchdown grab in his Chargers debut, but we saw McKitty play 40 snaps. He's only $400 on DraftKings. He had a few grabs on 4 targets, and Everett played a lot as well, 66%. They also like to throw the ball to running backs at times, so Joshua Kelly got some targets. We saw Eckler play about 50%, so he didn't even play that much. They kind of do like to ease Eckler in at times as well, just because he sometimes is injury prone. So Michelle played 24, Kelly played 27, Eckler played 33 snaps. If we look at the Kansas City side, we can take a look at how their receiving course kind of shook out after this is their first game playing together without Tyreek Hill. So we saw, actually, surprisingly, Marquez Valdes-Scantling played the most snaps out of the other wide receivers. He got 73%, followed by Juju, played 66%. Juju had a good game. Hardman played 56%, and then Sky Moore, the rookie, who probably will get more snaps as the season goes on. He only played 19. Watson actually played more than him, surprisingly. Would not have expected that in week 1. And then for the running backs, looks like we're heading to a timeshare once again this season for the Chiefs. Also, some of this stuff did come when they were up huge in the fourth quarter, so they didn't really need their starters out there playing the fourth. But McKinnon played same exact number of snaps as Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and then you saw the rookie 7th-round pick Isaiah Pacheco play really well, and he played 23%. He played mostly at the end of the game in garbage time. Looking at the picks, now we can take a look at the Kansas City tight ends, but it's going to be Travis Kelce playing majority snaps, and then you got some blockers mixed in there as well. He played 64%. Gray played 53%. Joe Fortson played 34%. That's a new name. Looking at DraftKings now, the most expensive player is, got 3 guys above 11K, Kelce, Herbert, and Mahomes, and they're all great plays. I want to try to get to all of these guys if I can. Eckler, same deal. I like the top 3 more than Eckler, just because he probably won't play as much snaps as Kelce will. But I think Mike Williams looks good as a value, just because he's 9K. People might be down on him after that game that he had in week number 1. But so it's the perfect time to kind of jump on Mike Williams. The fact that he only had 4 targets, 2 receptions for 10 yards. But looking back at the snap counts, he did play 93%. And in what should be a shootout, they're going to need to throw the ball to somebody to keep pace with the Chiefs. And Williams had a couple of good games against them last year, so he looks really good. I like Clyde Edwards-Helaire as well, with the upside that he gives you with touchdowns. But there is going to be McKinnon going to take some work. So I like Edwards-Helaire, but I think definitely don't want to sleep on Jerick McKinnon at 26. He's probably looking like a really, really good value if you're trying to get to these studs. You're going to need guys like McKinnon and Kitty there at the bottom as well for the Chargers tight end. But like McKinnon a lot as well. He probably should play at least 35, maybe 40, even 40% of snaps, splitting some time with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And then the other running back is the rookie, who is 4,400 in the flex. So I'd rather get to McKinnon to pay 44 for him. And the same thing with like Carter. He's 46, but I'd rather get up to Everett for 200 more, or get up to Palmer, who played 75% of snaps. And then for the Chiefs receivers, we got Juju is most expensive. He's 8K. Probably think you can get to him if you wanted to, but it's going to be tough. So I'd rather get to like LACvsKC, save some money, played more snaps than Juju, and also gives you big play upside, which you probably will see some big plays in this game. And then at the bottom, Trey McKitty, $400. He got a lot of snaps when Keenan Allen went down. They went with 2 tight end sets a lot of the time, so he's mostly known as a blocker, but he got 4 targets, and he did do pretty well. 3 receptions for 24 yards. If he has a similar line to that, then you'll be happy. Fortson had a touchdown, 1 grab, 1 reception for a yard. You love when the stat line, the quadruple 1 stat line for him. And then at the bottom end, Spiller, he didn't get any playing time. Roundtree didn't play. So you just kind of went to Joshua Kelly, and then they brought in Sony Michel after he was waived, and he didn't play too well. He had like 7 carries, 12 yards, and he's not that cheap, I believe. He's 3K. I think we can do better value-wise. Like Jerick McKinnon is right there below him, who plays a lot more snaps. And then Sky Moore, 18. If you want to take a flyer on him, don't hate it. He might see more work. He only had 1 grab, but he did go for 30 yards, so it does give you some big play upside. Guyton is like the one guy that might be a bit difficult to trust, but in big field tournaments, you can mix in these guys at the bottom. So looking at some lineup builds on DraftKings, it's going to be tough if you wanted to get to all these guys, but we'll make one with Mahomes and Herbert as your 2 guys that you fill in, because you really want to get to both quarterbacks here. We try to get to LACvsKC as well. We're down to 33.66. We're going to have to throw in some value plays like Jerick McKinnon here. If we throw in the $400 McKitty, we have 71, and there's like nobody in that range that looks that appealing. So we might have to do some flip-flopping with the captain spot, and hopefully we can get to like a receiver or something like that. See if it makes a difference. Not too much. We just have $7,400 left. We might have to put in LACvsKC. It's not going to make too much of a difference anyway. They're all really closely priced. So we have $7,500 left. So it's pretty difficult to get to like a top-end captain and then fill out 3 really good spots, because they're just not the guys priced in the 7K range. So your best bet would be getting to like LACvsKC and then possibly paying up to like a $3,700. You just have the defenses there. So I kind of tried playing around with some expensive captains. It doesn't really work, and you miss out on some studs. You can make it work with Mike Williams at captain, with Mahomes, Herbert. You're not going to be able to play LACvsKC and feel good about your last 2 spots unless you just want to completely go with some garbage plays. Well, actually, this could work. You got McKitty and Sky Moore, so you do a split 3-3 with a expensive captain. So actually, this one I don't hate if you wanted to do that or something similar to that. But I was thinking going cheaper at captain, and if you put in like McKinnon here at $3,900 for a guy that does give you upside and will catch passes and can be utilized in red zone situations at times. Like, it just depends on what Andy Reid wants to do. Now you're able to get to Mahomes, Justin Herbert, as well as get to like a LACvsKC here, and you still have 6,000 left. So, you could even get to like an Eckler, and now you have $1,900 left to put in like a Sky Moore if you wanted to do something like that. Or if we wanted to put in like Mike Williams here, who's 9K only. We have 31 left, so now we can put in possibly like a Sony Michel if we want to take a flyer on him. Going even cheaper, we have Palmer at 5K, who's going to play a lot. But once again, the pricing is just a little bit prohibitive. It's not really letting you get to anybody in the 7K range, so you could put in like Palmer at captain and do something like that. See if that works. Or let's see if we put in Clyde Edwards-Helaire, how much we have left. We have 35. Just left with the defense there. Put in like LACvsKC. We have 57. So this is super Chiefs heavy. Or we could put in Palmer and save some money. So we'll see if we instead of going with McKinnon at captain, put in like a Gerald Everett, who's going to catch passes and be involved and give you touchdown upside as well, utilizing red zone situations. We have 4,400 left. Put in like a McKinnon. Now we have 62. Just can get to like Michael Hardman if you wanted to, or like a Palmer, something like that. If you wanted to get to Valdez-Scantling, you'd have to go down to like Carter at captain, which I really don't want to do too much. Palmer is more expensive than Everett, so it's not going to help us there. But you could put in Hardman in the flex and then still get to like an Everett at captain. So it's definitely kind of tricky to put a lineup together if you want to get up to the top guys, which you definitely want to. So I'm pretty fine with going with some bottom end dumpster fire plays. On DraftKings, like Carter, Pacheco, they don't appeal to me too much. The kicker's fine, like Hopkins at least. Amendola, with Butker out, he's going to get some snaps, but he's 4K, so they kind of we're not getting a discount on him. Bottom end, McKinnon, Sky Moore, even I guess Joshua Kelly, but McKitty would be like my favorite at the bottom end at $400. And then even their like fullback got a touchdown. Like everybody except for like Eckler and Mike Williams seemed to have a really good game for them in terms of a lot of the guys on the Chargers. But for the core plays, personally, I'm going cheap at captain. Like, if you wanted to get even really crazy, you could even put in a guy like, even try McKitty at captain at $600. You'll be able to get to whatever studs you want. And with Donald Parham out, he's going to see snaps, so hopefully he continues to get the same targets. Like, even if he has 5 fantasy points, it'll be fine at $600. If their studs go off like they're expected to. But there's an upside that I could get more, with all these random guys scored a touchdown for the Chargers week 1. If it's McKitty's turn this week, if he does find the end zone, then he's going to be the optimal, I'd assume. But you can put in Mahomes, put in Herbert, put in Kelsey, even put in Eckler, and you have $5,200 left to put in like a Palmer if you wanted to do that. Put in Gerald Everett, or instead of Eckler, if you want to go with like a Clyde Edwards-Helaire or go with a Mike Williams. You have 68 left. Put in Valdez-Scantling, who played the most snaps at wide receiver. Put in Mike Williams, fill out your whole lineup, but could be popular. So mix and match or something like that if you're not feeling going all the way down to like McKinnon at the bottom end. But you're going to need to get to some of these scrubs at the bottom to get you to pay up for these studs. But in terms of the core plays, I'd say these 4 would be it. Now, whether I end up with McKitty at captain or not, see how the day goes. But I don't hate it. Just because I want to get to as many of these guys, like all these guys above 10K, they can all score over 20 fantasy points, and you're going to need them in the lineup if they all do that. So, and this is the only way to make it work, to get them all in there. But that's it for DraftKings. Go ahead now and look at FanDuel. So on FanDuel, we have 17,000 Mahomes, 15.5 for Justin Herbert, so there is much more of a price gap. Then we have Eckler's next at 14.5, then Kelsey. Do you like Kelsey more than Eckler? Then we have some more savings to get to Mike Williams at 12.5. So he's 2K less than Eckler. That could be always looking for at least a little bit of savings. That would be nice. Edwards-Helaire is next at 12K. I like him better than Juju and Valdez-Scantling. Then we get to the kicker and Amendola. Everett sandwiched at 95. It's pretty expensive, I'd say, at that price tag. Go cheaper for like Hardman is 75. Even like Palmer is 7K, and he's going to see like a lot of snaps to fill in. Keenan Allen's role. Sky Moore 65. Palmer looks better for 500. McKinnon at only 65 looks appealing to get to a value, and then McKitty at 6K as well. So a little bit closer price gap between McKinnon and McKitty on FanDuel. But let's see if she'll try to get to both quarterbacks because they both could drop over 30 fantasy points. We're left with 91. If we put in Kelsey, we're left with 67.50. Not going to be able to put in any of these other guys that are expensive. Be kind of stuck with like a Josh Palmer and a Jerick McKinnon or something like that, which I do not hate at all because McKinnon and Palmer, they're going to be on the field probably at least 40% of the snaps. At least McKinnon is. Oh, at least Palmer is. McKinnon could see a little less, but Palmer's probably going to see like 75, 80% of snaps at wide receiver. So that one I don't hate. If one to go a little bit cheaper from Travis Kelce and put in Mike Williams for 25 or for 2K less, it'll give us a little bit more flexibility if you're needing that. Get to like a Hardman at 75, and you have 75 left once again to put in, a Palmer if you wanted to do that. So do like Hardman's price tag at 75. It's just, if you wanted to get to Kelsey instead of Mike Williams, and then get to McKinnon instead of Hardman, it's going to be the decision I'll probably have to end up making if you do something like this. Make a build like this one. Because right at 6K, you just have McKitty, which is fine. But for a K1,000 more, I'd rather get to a guy that I kind of know is going to play and run some more routes. Like McKitty, $400 on DraftKings. Much different story than 6K on FanDuel. Not saying that he can't have a good game. But looking back at the core plays, probably Mahomes, Justin Herbert. I'll probably end up getting to either Kelsey or Mike Williams as the third stud. But for the value, got some guys below 75. Hardman, Palmer, and McKinnon are probably the best ones to look at. Right now, for 65, backup running back, going to get some catches as well. Put in McKinnon. But that's about it. It's going to be a fun showdown. There's a lot of ways to go. You could see a lot of ways to be different on this type of game with all these guys at the bottom that could have a touchdown grab. Lots of guys, random players might score touchdowns in this one. But that's what I got for you guys for a kind of a build and what I'm thinking about for this one. Best of luck. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time.